Hello learners, welcome to this online course on electricity and safety measures. I am Dr. Rakhi Sharma from School of Engineering and Technology, Indira Gandhi National Open University, New Delhi. So learners, we will discuss on the accidents that may occur if the safety procedures are not following strictly. Let me begin with the content which I am going to cover in coming sessions under this module. So in this module, electrical accident prevention and protection, in first session we will discuss about the general information on electrical accidents, under which the causes of accidents, accidents reporting and investigations, the cost of accidents, this will be covered. And learner, the learning objective of today's sessions is basically you will be able to describe general information about direct and indirect causes of accidents, accidents reporting procedures and investigation, and you will also learn about the cause of accidents. In second session of this topic, we will study about the accident prevention and the general measures for preventing accidents and proper handling of equipment. Similarly, in the third and fourth part, we will discuss about the accidents due to electrical shock and fire. We will focus on the cases of electric shock and fire, the most serious kind of accidents that can take place in power utilities. And in the fourth part, we will discuss about the first aid instructions. And there you will be acquainted with the first aid techniques so that you can assess the accident victim or accident victims if any such situation arises in your surroundings. Learners, you will agree that ensuring safety at your workplace is a critical aspect of your responsibilities. Accidents can change the lives of the victims and their families. Moreover, they can lead to heavy losses of lives and equipment and prove to be costly and time consuming for you and your company. From time to time, we all make mistakes, but when life and limb are at risk, it is inexcusable to take chances, and it would be very sad to go through the rest of one's life knowing that someone had been killed or injured due to one's own negligence. So friends, fortunately, most accidents in electrical installations can be avoided with a little care and caution. You only need to follow certain basic guidelines and procedures to prevent and reduce the various incidents of accidents. Electrical accidents, unlike most other industrial accidents, quite often this happen to professional and supervisory staff. In fact, in some situations, they may be at greater risk than the manual staff. So, although the apparatus and working practices are undergoing change, many of old problems persist, and we witness the same electrical accidents time and again. Therefore, we need to be more vigilant and careful. Let us begin the discussion with considering this question. What kind of accidents take place in electrical installations? Yes, they are electric shock, electrocution, the burns because of electrical or thermal contact, the fires, then explosion, the injury from a fall, and you may be injured because of the cuts or from fractures. So these are the kind of accidents take place in electrical installations. So some points to be noted about the electrical accidents. What are these? A very large portion of accidents to electrical staff do not involve electric shock, but are caused by flesh and arc burns due to incorrect way of working on live exposed conductors. Too much work is done live, and this work done by the person with inadequate training in live work. So learners, most electrical fatalities are due to electric shock at the lowest distribution voltage of 240 volt and 415 volt for three-phase condition. Contrary to the some commonly held beliefs, 240 volt is a very dangerous voltage. You must have experienced that nearly all electric shocks, even at 240 volt, are potentially lethal. That means highly dangerous and may cause death. For every fatality, there have been many narrow escapes and far greater number of minor shocks and tingles. It depends crucially on whether the victim is able to let go of the live conductors or not. Mostly the answer is yes, hence the large number of lucky escapes are there. So in order to prevent accidents in electrical installation, you first need to understand why accidents take place. So what are the causes of accidents? Let us begin by considering an example of how an accident takes place when a technician is working to rectify a fault. Suddenly the rung of a ladder he is standing on breaks down and he falls on the ground. His arm is fractured, but luckily he does not sustain any serious head injury. So question before us is, why did this happen? There could be many reasons for such accident, some related to equipment and other related to safety procedures. Consider the following questions that may help you in arriving at a suitable answer. How do we design our ladders or other relevant equipment such as access stairs and platform? How do we purchase ladders? Do we buy the cheapest available? Are they checked on arrival for suitability? Are ladders stored in a controlled manner? Have we included ladders in our maintenance program? So questions related to safety procedures would be, do we have safety rules for using ladders and working at heights? Have people been trained in those safety rules? Other question arises, are ladders properly marked and identified? Do we have any sort of inventory control of ladders? Are people adequately supervised, particularly when performing a risky task? So these questions may arise related to the safety procedures. So the reason for this accident could be stem for any one of the following factors. Yes, the issue of ladder safety is one of the least important in safety management system. The ladder safety may be addressed, but the standard of performance is inadequate. The standards may be defined, but there are no compliances. Friends, this example is a pointer to the causes of accidents, which may be broadly divided into two categories. These categories are direct accidents and indirect accidents. Now, what are the causes of direct accidents? So, accidents occur due to both unsafe acts of workforce and unsafe working conditions. When we say unsafe acts refers to the violation of commonly accepted safe procedures of working. When we say unsafe conditions, it refers to the conditions with potential of causing injury to a person or damage to the equipment. So for understanding, we give examples of both kind of accidents. So let us discuss the examples of some accidents arising from the unsafe act. So some example of unsafe act are, unsafe act means violation of commonly accepted safe procedures of working. So what are examples of this? Like the operating without authority, or unauthorized person working on the lines or equipment, failure of ensure safety due to violation or due to neglect of safety measures, lack of supervisions, following unsafe procedures, and working without using safety appliances. Other example can be bypassing safety devices, use of unsafe tool tackles, unsafe loading and placing. And there may be other unsafe acts like working on moving machinery, equipment which may arise accident. Then working without obtaining proper line clear. I have already discussed in my previous sessions what is line clear, and we will discuss in further also. Then other example of the unsafe act is working without proper instructions from the superiors, wrong instructions from person who received the line clear, then lack of knowledge of feeding arrangements, and all above negligence, carelessness, haste and overconfidence. These are the causes, and these are the example of unsafe act which cause accidents. Now let us discuss the example of accidents which arise from the unsafe conditions. When I talk unsafe conditions, conditions with potential of causing injury to the person or damage to the equipment. So what are these unsafe conditions? These are unguarded or defective machines. This may cause accidents. Then unsafe design and construction. Maybe if I discuss the example of ladder, maybe it was not designed properly. That's why accident, one could have met accident. Then other examples are improper illumination, poor housekeeping, then lack of proper tools. There may be the slippery floor which may cause accident. Then snapping of conductors can be there. Other conditions are accident contact with live electric wire or equipment. Then defective appliances, apparatus, tools may cause accident. Then other unsafe conditions, inadequate maintenance or lack of maintenance. Then unauthorized work also may cause this accidents, because this is also the unsafe condition. So learners, accidents do not happen, they are caused. So we have listed some examples of direct causes of accidents arising from unsafe acts and unsafe conditions. Let us discuss indirect causes of accidents. What are these? So these comprise all such factors that give rise to direct causes. These include lack of knowledge and skills, then physiological, anatomical deficiencies, and inappropriate psychological trait of workers. Then lack of knowledge and skills is marked by incorrect knowledge, incomplete knowledge, or low degree of skill, or lack of skill and misunderstanding of job instructions. Then other indirect cause of accident is that inappropriate physiological deficiencies refer to poor eyesight, then hearing defects, lack of fitness, illness, allergies, etc. Then inappropriate psychological traits. This is also a cause of the indirect cause of the accidents. This may be characterized by workers who are arrogant, lazy, fearful, careless, they may be nervous, egoistical, and absent-minded, overconfident. So because of these psychological trait, they may cause the indirect or they are the indirect cause of electrical accidents. Let me show you some slogans which are very good to learn. Then, like, learn to use the right tools and methods. Respect electricity. Be alert. Safety is everybody's responsibility. You can see here the avoid indirect cause of accidents, and for this you have to acquire knowledge, skills, and adopt right attitude and overcome deficiencies. So learners, this is some slogan. You may also coin your own slogans, and you can put them in your organization or utility. Remember, intoxication at work can lead to serious accidents and should never be permitted. Let us discuss accident reporting and investigation. Accident records are essential aids for prevention of accidents. They give us information about the type of accidents most frequently encountered, where they occur, and their relative severity. So a study of these records reveals a common hazard and leads to a better understanding of the cause of accidents. And most effective methods of preventing them are: all accidents should be promptly reported, whether they result in injury or not. Many injury-free accidents which are not reported reoccur with serious injuries. All accidents to the public involving company, personnel, equipment, or property should also be reported promptly. Learners, you have learned from Rule 44A of Indian Electricity Rules 1956 pertaining to the information of an accident. It is stated again in the margin of ready reference. So note, if any accident occurs in connection with the generation, transmission, supply, or use of energy in connection with any part of electrical supply lines or other works of any person, and the accident results in or is likely to have resulted in loss of human or animal life, or in any injury to a human being or animal, such person or any authorized person of the state electricity board or supplier not below the rank of junior engineer or equivalent should send to the inspector in telegraphic report within 24 hours of the knowledge of the occurrence of the fatal accident, and a written report in the prescribed pro forma within 48 hours of the knowledge of occurrence of the fatal or all other accidents. Where practicable, a telephonic message should also be given to the inspector immediately after the accident comes to the knowledge of the authorized officer of the state electricity board or supplier or other person concerned. So learners, as per the rule, electricity rule 44A, the report should be submitted in a prescribed form. The form for reporting electrical accidents, it will be discussed later. So you must understand that the occurrence of electrical accidents has to be reported with all seriousness. It helps in ascertaining the cause of accidents. Besides, immediate steps can also be taken for administering first aid, medical attendance. Then preserving the evidences are required. A thorough review can be done on how the accident occurred, pinpoint lapses and fix responsibilities. Measures can be taken so that it does not reoccur. Of course, it needs to be ensured that the remedial measures are implemented properly. So for breach of Rule 44A, there is a penalty under the Rule 138A of IE Rules 1956. Under which, if any person responsible for the generation, transformation, transmission, conversion, distribution, supply or use of energy fails to report the occurrence of accidents to the inspector and other authorities concerned, he or she should be punishable. So let us discuss form for reporting electrical accidents. So these are just for the example, there are some essential points which the form may contain. You will just get some idea about this. That the date and time of the accident should be mentioned. It should have the place of accident, the village, town, tehsil, district, state should be mentioned there. The system and voltage of supply, whether it was high voltage, low voltage, extra high voltage, line, substation, generating station, or consumers installation, or service lines, other installation, these should be mentioned. Then designation of the officer in charge of the supplier in whose jurisdiction the accident occurred, it should be mentioned. Then name of the owner or user of energy in whose premises the accident occurred, and the form may have should have the name of that. Then details of the victim are presented there. It may be the human, it may be animal, or if the human is there, then his name, father's name, his sex, full postal address, then age, or the accident is whether fatal or non-fatal. Details should be given. With regard to the animal also, the details are given. Then in case of the victim victims are employees of supplier, then the designation of such person is need to be mentioned. Then brief description of job undertaken, if any, this should be known. Then whether such person or persons was the persons were allowed to work on the job. It should be clarified in the form also. So in case of victims, is an employees of a licensed contractor, then some points need to be mentioned. That did the victims possesses any electric workman's permit, supervisor certificate of competency issued under Rule 45? If yes, the give number and date of issue and the name of issuing authority. The second is that name of designation of the person who assigned the duties of the victim. The another thing that need to be reported is in case of the accident in the supplier's system, was the permit to work taken? Then under the 10th point, describe fully the nature and extent of injuries. The fatal, it is disablement or permanent or temporary is there, or any portion of the body, or burns are there, or other injuries. This need to be mentioned. In case of fatal accidents, was the postmortem performed? So you can understand that what kind of informations are required for the reporting. This comprise the complete reporting with regard to the accident met. Then some other are detailed causes leading to the accidents to be given in a separate sheet in the form. Then action taken regarding the first aid, medical attendance, etc. Immediately after the occurrence of the accident, the details may be taken or the report can be prepared. Then whether the district magistrate and police station concerned have been notified of the accidents. So if yes, then give the details. Then steps taken to preserve the evidence of in connection with the accident to the extent possible. It would always be good to keep the record of this. The name and designation of the person assisting, supervising the person killed or injured. He may also help for further in the investigation. Then under 16 point, I have mentioned here that what safety equipments were given to and used by the persons who met with the accident. That is rubber gloves, then rubber mats, safety belts, ladder, etc. Some others points under the report may be whether isolating switches and other sectionalizing devices were employed to deaden the sections for working on the same, whether working sections was earthed at the site of the work, that means that all precautions were taken. Then you need to mention that whether the work on live lines was undertaken by authorized persons. If so, the name and the designation of the such persons may be given under this report. Then whether artificial resuscitation treatment was given to the person who met the electrical accident. If yes, how long was it continued before its abandonment. Names and designation of the persons present at and witnessed the accident. So all these information and some other information may also be added here. So and the name, signature, designation, the place and accidents of the person. So the person who is presenting this report. So all this should be mentioned in the report. So this was just to give an idea that what kind of, for the investigation, these are the points which need to be recorded. So these comes under the ideal practices. So every accident should be investigated to determine the cause and the steps needed to prevent its recurrence. It should be the responsibility of the person in charge of the work to get complete details of the accident as soon as possible after it occurs. And depending upon the seriousness of the accident, apart from the statutory investigation of the accident, the management may like to have internal investigation conducted for the following purposes. So what are the purposes? That means the management should also investigate, arriving at factual information leading to corrective action, then fact findings and not fault findings, identification of principal source of accident, then indicating the need for engineering revision in various types of equipment and materials, disclosure of inefficiencies in operating process and procedures. So these need to be investigated internally by the management. However, it must be ensured that the investigating individual should not be involved with any disciplinary proceedings. So let us discuss about the cost of accidents. So all injury cases, whether these are minor or major, result in financial loss to the organization in addition to the irreparable loss for the family members in case of a fatal accident. So the cost of accidents comprises two components. We can say the direct component and indirect component. When we say direct cost, then direct cost include the cost of medical treatment, the compensation for loss of earning capacity, then permanent disability, fatality. So for this, the compensation is provided. So this all comes under the direct costs for the accidents. Now, what are the indirect costs? So indirect costs pertain to production loss and time loss of co-worker. Yes, in any company, if someone met with accident, then this may cause the production loss for the company, and even if the work is pending, then this is a loss of the co-worker, also time loss for the co-workers also. So other indirect cost is idle time of machine and damage to equipment, loss of morale of workers in unit, then loss of time of supervisory personnel in submitting the report and accidents analysis. Other indirect costs are loss of efficiency of injured person after reporting for duty, then transportation charges will be there, such accidents, then administrative and legal expenses will be there, then company's reputation being stake. Now if someone met accident, then to substitute for his work, there will be the need of training. So at cost of training the substitute employee, this also comes under the indirect cost. Business interruption and failure to meet schedule, this may cause, and investigation by statutory authorities and penalties imposed by them. So these all comes under the indirect cost. So learners, with this I am summarizing this session. So in this module on electrical accident prevention and protection, learners, we are dealing with various aspects of accident prevention, handling and protection. So in this session, we have presented general information about the direct and indirect causes of accidents, and then accidents reporting procedures we have seen, and investigation, and the cost of accidents we have discussed. In our next sessions on accident prevention and protection, we will discuss various general measures that can be taken to prevent accidents. Thank you and happy learning.